What up, guys? Your boy Quake, and another day and another beef. And this time, 50 Cent has finally decided to address Rick Ross because publicly, he really has been ignoring him for quite some time now, which is really unusual of 50. Sometimes he usually attacks people immediately if they attack him. But for Rick Ross, he's noticed that every time he responds to him, Rick Ross gets some type of momentum. So then that motivates Rick Ross to keep going at 50 so he gets more attention. Gilly and Wallow, who run the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, showed up to 50 Cent's Humor and Harmony event in Shreveport, Louisiana. And while they were there, they managed to get 50 Cent to sit down on their podcast to talk about various things. And in this preview clip, Gilly asks 50 Cent, why does Rick Ross continuously go at you? Why was he making fun of your ex-girlfriend? So on and so forth. And 50 Cent decides to address that.
Seen Ross take a shot at you a couple weeks ago about a girl that you're not even with no more. And then, what is it with you and Ross that's just been going on for so long?
I spend it to you, right? Nothing else works for him outside of mentioning me. When things get bad, you mention me, it gets covered further. You see TMZ is say 50 Cent said this is going to be bad for Irv Gotti's career. I get covered across the board. They get covered on the hip hop blogs. It is what it is. And you watch because I have nothing else to say. You just see it happen periodically as it goes. You know, you see that big white elephant, that property he lives at? It costs more than the nightclubs. He's in the nightclubs. We know what they can give you. They can't pay you more than they can pay you because the room can't hold enough people for them to give you the money to stay there. You can stay until you're a squatter, holding on to the leg of the chair that they're moving. But that's what it is. It's just a part of presentation. Come on, bro. You can see this. You don't need me to say this. You know this. Look at it. What kind of rich nigga cut his own grass? Why you out there cutting your own grass? You trying to save money, nigga? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
Let me ask you this.
The AC broken in the motherfucker.
Let me ask you this.
Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to Factor for sponsoring today's video. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success. You can skip the grocery stores, the prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door with over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and a lot more. Factor now also offers loads of snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juices, small bites, and more to keep you going no matter what's on the schedule. And for me personally, I end up thinking a lot about what I'm going to eat next or what food I'm going to have, what I'm going to cook, and it takes away a lot of time that I could be using for different things. And Factor already has all that planned out for me. It makes it very seamless and easy, and it's one thing out of my life that I don't have to always think about. So take that stress out of your life. Since eating is something you have to do every single day, take that worry away. Get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders using my link. You can click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone on the screen. Your support helps the channel out a lot as well, so click that link in the description below. After this, of course, Rick Ross caught wind of it and decided to respond on his own Instagram, making fun of 50 Cent for siding with Drake over Kendrick Lamar in the beef because he said that, hey, 50 Cent used to be signed to Dr. Dre, and you were supposed to be riding for the West Coast because Dr. Dre's your savior. Why are you siding with the Canadian boy Drake in the beef? Well, now I think in reality, 50 didn't really side with someone. Yeah, he would mainly react to the Drake stuff, but I think he was, pretty cordial in between when it comes to the battle. And he even had TDE over at the Humor and Harmony weekend. So I don't think he's really taken a side, but Rick Ross addresses that and then clowns 50 and says that, hey, you can use my land and my property to shoot your little movies if you want because I know you purchased some cheap land out in Shreveport, Louisiana, and that's all you can afford.
I just seen a clip of the Wallow show where he was interviewing 50 Cent and the other little dude asked him a question, small talk. But ultimately, the question that should have been asked was, You jumped out there during the beef, the West Coast versus the Canadian. And I thought Dr. Dre put you on. I thought Dr. Dre was the set. I thought you was loyal to Dr. Dre. You mean you went with the Canadian over Dr. Dre? Who you say changed your life? I ain't know. I thought loyalty. But you did shut the fuck up once the Canadian took the L. You got totally quiet. You did. So. And so look, this is where I want to have the ring at in Thriller of Manila. Right in my front yard. We got acres and acres and acres. It'll be right here in the front yard. You understand what I'm trying to say? This is where we'll put it at, right here. We'll put it right here. This is where I want it at. Thriller and Manila. I have 15,000 people right here, just right here in the front yard for the car show. This is where we're going to put it at. And 50 Cent, whatever you trying to do in Shreveport, I understand the land is very inexpensive. So that's why you chose that. But you could put that on the other side in my backyard. I got another 150 acres on the backside. I won't even notice whatever y'all little thing is y'all doing. We wouldn't even have to cross each other's paths. I'll put you way in the back. Trust me, y'all can film all y'all little whatever shows. Ghost Part 9.
And that was a funny response. You got to give it up to Rick Ross. This battle between 50 and Ross, I don't think will ever end. This is one of those situations just like 50 and Ja Rule and 50 in the game. These are three rappers that 50 I don't think will ever squash the beef with, because it's just something that led to more serious things that 50 can't overlook. With Ja Rule, it had to do with him getting shot 9 times and people getting, hit left and right. Then you had the game, people getting killed, people getting locked up. And then you had Rick Ross with the whole bankruptcy thing and some places, things happening where people got shot up. So those are more serious and actual beefs. I don't think 50 will ever have any type of consolidation with Rick Ross in any way, even though there was a moment where it felt like 50 was going to be cool with Ross, because there was an interview where someone asked 50, would you use the BMF track from Rick Ross for the BMF TV show? And 50 was open to the idea, but then Rick Ross shut it down immediately. Regardless, what do you guys think? Does 50 Cent have a point? I think he does, because what 50 Cent reacts to usually gets more attention than the actual story itself. And I've noticed it with just content that I'm doing. Whenever I put 50 Cent says or 50 Cent reacts, it usually ends up getting more views than if I put Rick Ross says or Rick Ross reacts, or anybody like Irv Gotti, Ja Rule, or whoever else 50 has an issue with. And Rick Ross knows this, because if you look on his Instagram stories, every time he has something going on with 50, he decides to promote his champagne, his car cleaning products, or whatever he's trying to push at that moment, his album, whatever the case may be. So clearly he knows he gets a lot more attention when he goes back and forth with 50. But 50 usually, surprisingly, doesn't address Rick Ross. And he actually avoids the game for the most part as well, too, because he thinks that these two individuals are just people that need him to keep their name relevant. Now, one of the first beefs I ever covered on my YouTube channel was 50 Cent versus Rick Ross. Who really won? But I do realize that I need to do an updated version, because that was like one of the first beefs I ever covered, and it wasn't really done that well, because at that time in 2017, I didn't know if people want to watch long format content like that. And clearly in 2024, things have changed. So if you guys want me to do a new version of that 50 Cent versus Rick Ross Who Really Won video, let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you guys think. That's it for today's video. If you guys want to support this channel further, you can do so at patreon.com/diverse mentality. For just $3 a month, you can get my videos uncut and raw the way I intended them to be, but couldn't because of YouTube. Plus, you also get access to our Discord community, where we have a great community talking about hip hop and various other things. It's very dope. So only $3 a month. I'd really appreciate the support. Also follow us on social media at QuakeGW and at Diverse Mentality. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.